Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I at this point, with all sense of humility and pleasure, invite to take the welcome remarks the Chairman of the Board of Directors,
Chief Ladi Jadesimi,
Thank
Chairman
you.
Board of Directors of NDE.
Please let the applause be better. Let the applause be better.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you will indulge me to rely on existing protocols. I'm bound to start by apologizing profoundly for starting more than a little late. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I hope you'll accept my profound apologies. Most distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the greatest possible pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this event. We are most gratified that you found the time amidst your very busy schedule to honor our invitation. I'll go so far as to say that we are humbled even to see the array of the leading lights in business and industry in Nigeria who are present with us in person. So you're all very, very much welcome indeed. In addition to those who are here in person, we have others joining by Zoom, being unavoidably absent. They've already mentioned his name, Engineer Simbi Wabote, but he'll be joining us and participating by Zoom. He's, of course, the Supremo at the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB. He's been doing an excellent and tireless job of deepening Nigerian content in the oil and gas industry. The NCDMB recognizes that until Nigerians man the heights of industry in Nigeria, we cannot really hope for sustainable socio-economic growth. But of course, this has to be done in conjunction, in collaboration, in partnership with foreign capital, as well as technology. And just briefly, in terms of technology, I've never been convinced about this concept of technology being transferred from those who have it to those who do not. I think that we also need to engage in research and development and to add to the sum of human technological progress. This is an epochal day for our company because it signifies, inter alia, our coming of age as a fully integrated player in the energy business. I hope I'm correct in saying that as of today in Nigeria, we are probably the only player that is truly fully integrated from the upstream to midstream to downstream. The initial entity incorporated in 1992 as Midas Drilling Fluids eventually was renamed in 1996 as Niger Delta Exploration and Development Limited. The 8, I would refer to them as giants because what they did at the time was the first. The 8 giants who started off the whole business under the distinguished Chief Aradel Adams include Mr. Edward Iyamu, Chief Alex Okoli, Mr. Sami Olagbaju, Chief David Richards, and Mr. John Albert Jones. All of the above 6, unfortunately, are no longer with us. However, the two of the eight, namely Dr. Imo Itsweli and Dr. Lai Fatono, are not only very, very much still with us, but they remain as vigorous and outstanding as ever. In point of fact, so distinguished are they that they are amongst the very few Nigerians who are easily recognizable by their first name, at least in the industry in which they're active. I mean, for example, if anyone says Imo, I don't think that anyone in oil and gas would have any doubt that this is in reference to Dr. Itsweli. Similarly, if one says Lai without adding Fatono, I don't think there'll be any doubt as to the person being referred to. One of the motivations of the founding partners that I find particularly opposite is that one of their visions was to go into this business, but in such a corporate fashion that eventually it will afford virtually any Nigerian to invest in the oil and gas industry. And by the way, of the two remaining giants, as I described them, Dr. Fatono was the first managing director of NDEP, and under his leadership, his visionary leadership, all that's been achieved to date can be ascribed to him and his team. When it came time for him to retire, most shareholders were agitated and nervous because it was felt that there was no way that could sustain the business if he was to leave. However, fortunately, two things happened. First of all, he wasn't really allowed to go anywhere or to go very far because he moved more or less full-time into our, by far, the most valuable affiliate, ND Western. And of course, in ND Western, he and the rest of the top management are doing, they are working their magic. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, we will have occasion to again highlight what has been happening in that particular asset. We have two main objectives for today. One is to celebrate our very impressive successes and achievements to date, with a couple of marginal fails from Chevron NNPC partnership, namely Ogbele and Umerua. We have now gone, as we shall see when we see the presentations, we have now grown into not just a fully fledged integrated energy company, but one that has currently, since the beginning, apart from producing, we'll get the figures from the MD, we have comfortably very substantial reserves of both oil and gas, so that we can face the future with supreme confidence. We started crude oil processing as far back as 2020. I think there was a reference to the fact that we've achieved a number of firsts. I think this is probably the most significant. In 2020, we started with a modest topping plant with a capacity of just 1,000 barrels a day. This has been followed by 2 further modular refineries, each with the capacity of 5,000 barrels per day. And this refining capacity has been extremely useful, not only in increasing and diversifying our income streams, but also in terms of the flexibility we have to process more crude or less crude, depending on the state of evacuation of crude to the export markets. As we know, unfortunately, in the recent past, the main pipeline, export pipeline, has been bedeviled by more or less constant problems. And so it hasn't always been possible sometimes to even flow oil through. But as we will see from our presentation, we didn't just lament the state of affairs, but we embarked on what we call ACE, alternate crude evacuation method. It took a while, but for at least the past several weeks, I would say, it is very much up and running. So in terms of going to the market, we have ACE, we also have the pipeline when and if it's available. But the second purpose of today's event, which is probably more important, is to demonstrate that we recognize that present and future of any company in terms of the prospects are of more relevance than a glorious past or heritage. We are very alive to the dynamic changes, opportunities, as well as challenges that lie ahead of us. Our presentation will show that we have a robust and very well articulated strategy to take full advantage of the opportunities that lie ahead, while at the same time managing the attendant risks. Today's launching of a new name, new logo, is really all about brand and branding. A brand, of course, is only as valuable as the quality of the goods, products, and services associated with it. Being cognizant of this fact, we can boldly proclaim that our brand will very rapidly become a reference point in the industry, both nationally as well as internationally. Our determination is very simple: to be the most successful, the most respected name in the energy space in Nigeria. Today also effectively flags off our progress to a full listing of our business at the appropriate time, because access to the widest possible source of capital is a prerequisite to funding the magnitude of sustainable economic and financial growth that we are confident of achieving. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once more apologies for starting late. And I can only repeat my very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you. And I thank you for your attention.